And I wanted to take just a few minutes to tell you about what we want to accomplish in this room with our adults on Wednesday nights going forward. Last year, we identified as a staff 2 things that we wanted to work on specifically in 2023. Those 2 things were prayer and evangelism. Prayer, we spent the first part of the year on Wednesday nights going through a series on prayer, and we had 21 days of prayer and fasting. We had some prayer times, and that is going to continue. As a matter of fact, our staff currently is working through some things ourselves with a prayer time that we hope to introduce to everybody else in the coming months. The second piece to that was evangelism. And we want to talk about that a little bit more in detail as we come into this fall. You see, I would recognize that one of the reasons why we have these needs here at this church, at Open Door, is one, because of my own personal life. Those are not what I would consider to be strengths or spiritual gifts, because evangelism can be a spiritual gift. I would even say that probably goes across our staff. Those 2 needs probably would be at the top of things that our staff individually needs to work on. And so we want to grow together with you. We have been growing together as a staff, and we're going to continue to grow together. Earlier this year, as a part of that evangelism desire and prayer, God answered one of those prayers, and He brought a crusade to town, which allowed the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association to come in and do a 1-night evangelism training. Now, it would be easy for us to say, hey, all right, we had that, God answered a prayer, and that's over with. But a one-time event is not enough. I would say that we've got to make this a priority. If you look at Scripture, you understand that lost people are a priority to God. It is the last thing that Jesus would talk about when you read what we call the Great Commission at the end of the book of Matthew or at the first of the book of Acts. His imploring to us is to go and to preach the gospel, or to teach others, or to raise up disciples, to baptize them, for us to see this process of evangelism play out in the church. It has to rise to a level of importance for all of us. It is, though, one of the things, probably one of the top things, maybe the top thing, that most Christians are apprehensive about. And we want to help with that. We want to help all of us be able to be better at resolving some of those tensions. We're very blessed here at Open Door. We are seeing significant growth in our church. I am thoroughly convinced, though, that the difference between addition and multiplication is our ability to all be involved in evangelism. If we can somehow at our campuses practice being evangelistic, hearing and speaking and sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ on a regular basis so people come to know Him, creating environments where people want to know more about Him, I think that will help us. So over the next 8 weeks, myself and Pastor Jay and Pastor Chris are going to be sharing around a series on how to share the gospel with ease. We want to talk through how we can understand what our responsibility is, how we can share the gospel, some of the objections to sharing the gospel, and what that might look like if we all participate. I hope that you will plan to be here the following 8 weeks as we talk about how to share the gospel with ease, how we all grow in our responsibility to be evangelists.